Lourdes is the most popular pilgrimage site in the world. More than 6 million visit every year. 120,000 of them come from the United States. Lourdes is a picturesque place in the south of France, overlooked by the Pyrenees. The winding back streets date back 200 years and still maintain their original atmosphere. Lourdes became a pilgrimage site in 1858, when a simple peasant girl had a vision of the Virgin Mary. Today, the main attraction is the sanctuary. Thousands attend the daily services, drink the spring water, or bathe in the healing baths. It is the only town in the world entirely devoted to the sick and disabled. At the evening Mass, there is a blessing of the sick. And it is not uncommon for people to believe they are cured at one of these Masses. There have been 66 official miracle cures at Lourdes since 1858. That's 66 who could prove they had had an instantaneous and lasting cure. The most recent was in 1987. But 2,000 a year more are classed as unexplainable. Scientist David Hufford has studied miracles for 20 years.
About Lourdes, people often point to the relatively small number of documented miracles. Even if half of the people who go to Lourdes were miraculously cured, you probably still wouldn't find more than 40 or 50 who could meet the criteria, because they have to have firm physical diagnosis in advance. They have to report the miracle to the authorities when it happens. It has to be instant. They have to have follow-up diagnosis. They have to have, as I recall, the permission of their bishop to report it, all kinds of things. And so to say that the number documented is the number that occurs is pretty silly.
The Maurice Sanfray Hospital was built in 1874 to house disabled visitors to Lourdes.
Actually, this place is between a hospital and a hotel. Through the season, from Easter to end of October, we have here about 12,000 people a year. They all come with their own doctors, their own nurses from their countries, so they speak their language. It's no problem. You know, it's already a miracle for them to come up here. When you see some arriving, they just lay down all the time. I can't say they come here only they are just expecting a miracle. They come here just to be here, try to feel the atmosphere of Lourdes. But we have miracles all the time here.
Lourdes became famous on February 11, 1858. Bernadette Soubirous was out collecting wood in the grotto when she heard a gust of wind. She looked up and saw what she described as a lady cloaked in white light. The church did not believe her then, but that didn't stop thousands of people flocking to the grotto. Joe Nickel has investigated visions and miracles for 30 years.
Thousands of people came and they didn't see the Virgin Mary. They were seeing this person to whom the Virgin Mary supposedly appeared. And I've troubled to look over a number of these people. St. Bernadette at Lourdes, they are almost certainly fantasy-prone personalities. And they are, by and large, these are sane and normal people. But within this normal range, they're way over at one end of the spectrum of highly imaginative and prone to fantasy.
The apparition of the Virgin Mary appeared to Bernadette 18 times. On the 9th visit, the Virgin Mary showed Bernadette where the healing spring was. The water is now fed through to faucets, and drinking it or bathing in it are still very popular. Over 2.5 million gallons of water are taken home from Lourdes every year. And most of it is in plastic Virgin Mary water bottles, which is Lourdes' best-selling souvenir.
There's nothing special about the water at Lourdes.
Lourdes is known as a place you go to pray hard and play hard. At night, visitors pack the bars and cafes, which stay open as long as there are customers to serve. Devout pilgrims to Lourdes walk the way of the cross. Some crawl or go barefoot in hope of a miracle. The life-size figures depict Jesus on his walk to Calvary. They were started in 1898 by artist Raffi and took 13 years to complete. There are 115 cast iron figures. The face of Jesus was based on the Turin shroud. The walk is 1 mile long and a steep climb, but even the elderly and disabled are determined to complete it. People don't just come to Lourdes for a miracle cure. Many come as volunteers to push wheelchairs or entertain children. Volunteers come from all over the world just to help.
So you have to learn how to move these things. It's not that easy when you want to go around corners or anything. So we explain you, when the volunteers first arrive, they have like half an hour to try to learn how these things are used.
There is a red route painted on the road, from the hospital all the way down to the sanctuary. This is exclusively for wheelchairs. Today, 5,000 children are in Lourdes. 20% of them are disabled. The children have come from 21 different countries to take part in this special festival which takes place twice a year. 50 street clowns are also in town to entertain them.
I met a lot of people who thought they'd been healed. I met a lot of people who thought they had not been healed. And I don't think I ever met anybody who was disappointed.
Each time we've come back. Every year we say we won't come back, but we do come back.
They were all very glad that they made the pilgrimage. They thought it was a wonderful place, that they'd gotten spiritual gifts, and that a physical healing, which they all obviously, could have used and presumably would have liked, would be the frosting on the cake.
For a quiet pilgrimage, you have to travel to Lourdes in the winter months. But the crowds make Lourdes what it is, a place where miracles can happen. But official pilgrimage sites aren't the only places miracles happen.